Good morning, everyone. Thank you for reconvening from 2 days ago. We're here to give you an update on the ATV or the motor scooter crash that happened on Sunday. We'll hear from the mayor and the colonel. We have two videos that we'll show at the end. I'll describe them after the mayor has a few comments. And then we'll take questions and answers, and we'll give you answers to your questions at the end of the video. So let me introduce the mayor, Jorge Elorza. Say a few words, and then we'll describe what the video is, where we are on the inquiry and investigation, and the colonel will brief you on last evening's arrest and protest. Mayor Elorza.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good morning to everybody. I appreciate everyone joining us, especially members of the media, and helping us communicate with the public. I want to thank Commissioner Parry, Chief Clements. I also want to thank Colonel James Manni from the Rhode Island State Police, who's with us here today, and the Attorney General, Peter Nerone. First and foremost, there's still a young man who is severely injured, and he's still at the hospital. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family, and we hope for a speedy and full recovery. Second, my role throughout this entire incident and investigation will be first and foremost ensuring that we have a full, fair, honest, transparent investigation into what happened just a few days ago. To accomplish that, we've also reached out to the Attorney General's office. Instead of either resisting or waiting for them to come, we reached out and invited them to be part of this process to ensure that we have a second and independent set of eyes to make sure that we can be as transparent and inspire as much confidence and trust in the public that this investigation is indeed full, fair, professional, and honest. We've also invited Colonel Manni. Colonel Manni is also a separate set of eyes, and the state police is going to be doing their own independent review of the incident from just a couple of days ago to again ensure that we have as many separate set of eyes and ensuring the public that this is a full, fair, honest, thorough, and transparent investigation. A couple more points and then I'll hand it back over to the Commissioner. The first is that we have a couple more videos to share with you. We are still reaching out to the community. If anyone has video that can be helpful to us as we reconstruct the incident and the scene, please share that with us. It will be tremendously helpful to us as part of this investigation. There are also a number of officers who were on the scene, and we will be releasing their body cam footage. Those aren't prepared to be released today. We're preparing them for release, but we will be releasing them as soon as they are ready. And just to be clear on that, we heard a couple of days ago that it could take up to 2 weeks to complete the investigation where we reconstruct the scene and are ready to produce a final report on our investigation and review. We will not be waiting until the end of that to share whatever videos we can put out there. So we are preparing our body cam videos currently, and we'll be releasing them as soon as we can. So stay tuned for that. And the last piece that I want to go over today is that yesterday we had a large gathering where friends, family, and community members came out in support of the young man who is in the hospital. It started on Elmwood and Bissell and worked its way towards the center of the city, heading north. From about 6 o'clock to roughly 8 o'clock, it was a very peaceful demonstration. Later, after the sun had gone down and other folks had left, it did turn much more aggressive. And we'll have the chief speak a little bit more towards with respect to what happened yesterday. But this is an incident where I know that emotions are running high. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of anger and distrust. And what I urge all of our residents here in the city of Providence is to please withhold judgment on exactly what happened And let's focus on a thorough, complete, transparent investigation. That's what we are absolutely committed to. And we're going to allow the facts to lead us wherever they may. So we're asking for everyone's help in this. Please make sure that what we are all collectively calling for is that this investigation is transparent, open, full, and professional as possible. That's what I'm committing to, and I will hold everyone involved to that standard to make sure that this is an honest, full, fair, transparent investigation. So I'll hand it back to our commissioner, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you, Mayor. You'll see two videos once the Colonel finishes his briefing. The first is shot on Elmwood Avenue, and you'll see Jamal going by the video, and then you'll also see that scooter taking a right-hand turn. I have not seen this video in the public domain. We received this video 2 days ago, and we wanted to share it publicly. The second video is from a security video further on Bissell Street, shooting towards Elmwood Avenue. And what that shows you, although from a distance, it'll show Jamal taking a right-hand turn towards Bissell Street, and you don't see the point of contact at all. We've not had any video that shows the point of contact, the collision. What this one will show is him taking a right and the cruiser, the police vehicle, right behind the scooter. And you'll see the cruiser or the police vehicle hit a stop sign, and the stop sign is severed and taken down. You don't see any impact or collision with our victim, Jamal, or his scooter. So if there's any video out there with that information, we're seeking that and would ask that you bring that forward.
And just to be clear, Commissioner, you don't see it because it's off screen.
Yes, yeah, the shot that you'll see, there's some foliage that just blocks where the collision would have occurred. That's why, unfortunately, this video, although helpful, doesn't give us that point of contact. Let me ask the Colonel from the Providence Police, and before that, let me just acknowledge the men and women last night of the Providence Police did a phenomenal job during some real difficult circumstances. And the great restraint that was shown by the police officers were remarkable. We thank the state police because they sent resources. And the Colonel and Colonel Clemens and myself spoke with Colonel Manni, and he vowed to give us any resources that we needed. And last night, we needed those resources, so we thank you, Colonel, for sending the troopers to help us with an otherwise peaceful protest that turned violent. So let me ask the Colonel to brief you on that, and then I'll come back up and show the video, and then we'll open it up for any questions. Colonel Clemens.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mayor. So here up top, first off, I said it the other day, our thoughts and concerns are with a young man in the community fighting in the hospital with serious injuries. So genuinely, to him and his family, our thoughts and concerns. There's a larger conversation going on in this country, and certainly it's hit home right here in Providence. And that involves equity and justice. It's a complicated discussion that this Providence Police Department has always been part of prior to this and will continue to be going forward. However, we have always promoted peaceful assemblages and peaceful protests, and will continue to. But what is unacceptable and not tolerable is what took place last night in the latter part. Again, as the mayor identified, the beginning portion was a peaceful protest from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Knight Public Library as it descended onto the Providence Public Safety Complex, and there at around the first hour, and then aggressors, agitators, those who wanted to incite violence, wanted to see it go that way. The men and women of the Providence Police Department did an awesome job. Literally under fire of fireworks, bricks, bottles, rocks, everything you can think of. Incredible restraint amid that chaos and violence. So I want to thank the men and women for their professionalism, for that restraint. During the course of these several uprisings, if you will, so the original portion occurred at Washington and Dean as it pertains to the public safety complex. That first hour was relatively peaceful. Towards the latter end, Providence Police came under fire and began to move people back as fireworks are being shot at Providence police officers. 5 Providence police officers were hit with objects. One was transported to the hospital. Thank God he had his helmet on that saved him. Certainly has a concussion type injury. The other officers are fine and were released. They did not go to the hospital. They were fine, but several were under fire. The second round of agitation came further up the street at Westminster and Dean Street, where there were approximately, and up there were a lot more fireworks, a lot more objects being targeted at the police, several arrests, about 7 at that point, and then the crowd, which had thinned to that point, was still a large number, over 100, maybe 150, and that appeared to be it for a while. That group came back towards the public safety complex, over towards the Providence School Department parking lot, and again, a large amount of fireworks, bricks, bottles, and Providence Police made about a dozen arrests at that point, that latter portion of the night between 10:30 and 11 p.m. Total arrests, 21, 16 are males, 5 are females. One of those is a juvenile. 9 of the 21 are from Providence. The charges range from resisting arrest, obstruction, disorderly conduct, and fireworks. As well, I want to thank members of the Rhode Island State Police, Colonel Manni. As always, during these type incidents, we rely on that additional support. We work very well together, have over the years. I thank the men and women of the Rhode Island State Police. Exceptional professionalism last night, all the way around by those who wear the badge and protect this community. So that's all I have for now. We'll show the videos and we'll stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. The first videos you're going to see shot from the sidewalk out to Elmwood. It's probably 20 seconds. This will all be posted on our website, so if you don't get a good picture here, you can access it from our website. The second one is the security video shot further back on Bissell towards Elmwood. The video just continues, it'll be up on our website that you can continue to watch, but we stopped it there. So the investigation, obviously continues with the Attorney General's office overseeing it. The state police have a role as well, and we're going to get to everything that we can to identify exactly what happened leading up to the unfortunate crash that we just saw on that video. I'll open up for any questions, understanding that, look, it's pending. We don't have a lot of answers. The focus continues to be how Jamel was injured as a result of the crash.
Commissioner, based on what you've seen so far, did the cruiser hit the scooter, causing him to go into the wall?
That's been the focus, and we need to let the accident reconstruction team give us the evidence and then make a determination.
But based on what we just saw, that last shot, based on what you've seen so far to date, it looked like that the scooter went into the wall first before the cruiser.
Look, it's not definitive, as you've seen this tape. We've not had any clear video of the impact and the crash, so it's too early to determine exactly the question that you're asking, and we need to be thorough and we need to get it right. I think we'll get there, it's just going to take some time.
Earlier you said...
Right here, and then I'll get you in the back.
Commissioner, you mentioned that the Attorney General, there's a role for the state police. Are there multiple investigations happening concurrently, or is there one point person overseeing a joint task force? Can you kind of break down the infrastructure?
Sure, and I may ask the Attorney General to step up. So the Attorney General is leading. We like to look at these kinds of cases that it's a joint investigation, if you will. So, but the Attorney General is, as he said on Tuesday, looking at whether there's criminal liability or not. That's his role and his office's role. We're going to continue with that. So from that perspective, his office is leading, but we are partners, both with the state police, who is the outside entity that when we have, I'll use a protocol, use of force, or when we have serious bodily injury as a result of an in-custody, either death or serious bodily injury, or during an apprehension, we follow this protocol. And the state police are involved with that. Now, they bring resources, and so their expertise, along with ours, we combined, but they're doing an independent review of the crash with their team for construction review, accident reconstruction. That's their focus. That doesn't end our entire inquiry, but we'll continue to get to the facts that we can get, ask witnesses to come forward if they have relevant information that would help us get to what happened and what people have seen.
Just to
I
be
hope that answers, yes.
Just to be clear, a few minutes ago you said that in the video you could see the police cruiser hit the stop sign. So are you saying that because of the lack of video? Can we be clear on, are you guys saying that because there's no video that shows that point of view?
We have no definitive clear video that shows how Jamel suffered the injuries that he has.
And is this going, last time we spoke, you said the officer was on administrative duty. Where does that stand right now?
Continues to be on administrative duty.
Have you asked the officer whether or not he hit the scooter, and if so, what has he said?
Yeah, so that's a part of our investigation. So that's all a part of what we're doing, and eventually we'll provide that information to you.
Is the back of the scooter damaged, Commissioner?
Ed and Benjamin.
Can you draw any conclusions from these videos? Has it advanced investigation at all?
Look, it's a part of evidence that's independent, and before we draw any conclusions just based on an angle or a video or 3 videos, we need to do more work.
Is the back of the scooter damaged? Can you tell that maybe if the cruiser hit it, there'd be damage in the back of it?
Right, we're going to release that when the state police conclude their review in an accident reconstruction. We've looked at it as well, so that will be hopefully sooner. We said 2 weeks, 2 days ago, so we think we'll deliver something within the next 12 days. I know that's the focus, that's our focus as well, but we need to get it right.
Did the officer lose control of the cruiser? Is he the one that took down the stop sign? Do we know that?
That's a part of our inquiry. We have not yet completed
It's just-
that inquiry.
Last night at the library, as much as Mayor Elorza is saying they're being peaceful, they're announcing that a white police officer intentionally rammed his cruiser into a person of color, Jamal Gonzalez. That's up there last night. That was firing up the crowd. And today, we still don't know whether or not he hit him.
That's correct. Yeah, look, there's a lot of emotion, and, we hear that as well. We haven't yet completed this inquiry. It's important. We know we need to get it right. That's why we've asked the Attorney General to be a part of this, lead it on his end, and also having the state police come in and help us and lead that portion of it, because that's going to be the question. And DOJ has been consulted and been involved with where we are, Department of Justice, with the U.S. Attorney's Office as well.
What about the car that pulled out prior? Is that officer, what was his purpose? Because it looks as if Jamal goes to swerve around him. What was the purpose of that officer pulling out like that?
Too early to determine right now.
How does the state police investigation differ from the Attorney General's investigation, differ from your investigation?
Yes, please, General.
Yeah, so let me try to eliminate some confusion about that. Brian actually gave me a great question yesterday, which I hope to address some of it. I'm happy to share that with you as well. So we instituted or updated our protocol in June. And the purpose of that protocol is so that a law enforcement agency doesn't investigate its own. And this is something we hear a lot from the community, and it's completely understandable. That the public doesn't want a law enforcement agency investigating its own. And the purpose of this protocol is to avoid that very thing. And so anytime there's an incident involving police which falls within the scope of that protocol is invoked. Now, as I said to Brian yesterday in our email exchange, whether or not this particular incident falls within that protocol is frankly at this point unclear to me. But the fact of the matter is that protocol is a floor, not a ceiling. And so it can be invoked where either I think it should be or the police department does, and in this instance, the Providence Police Department asked us to invoke it. So when it's invoked, what happens is this, that my office is involved along with the agency that is the subject of the incident here in Providence and the state police. Now I'll give you another scenario. Let's say it's a state police cruiser that's involved in the incident, and it happens in Warwick. It would be the Warwick Police Department and the state police in my office conducting a joint review and ultimately an investigation. The purpose of that is to make sure that the agency that is involved in the incident is not investigating it alone, that there are other eyes on it. And the purpose of that is to bring independence, and I like to believe integrity to that investigation. And so this isn't any different from any other time this protocol is invoked. State police has a role, Providence has a role, and my office has a role. Now I will tell you that in complicated investigations, the role of my office is to guide an investigation. What evidence do we need? What evidence should we be pursuing? What else can we track down? In this particular case, what's really important is that we get all the evidence. Every piece of video that we can get, every witness that we can interview, and the job of my office, as I see it, is to make sure that every avenue is pursued so that when we give the public an answer as to what happened, it is complete and it has reliability. And that is the focus of what it is we're doing. You're asking great questions. I think it would be irresponsible for us to answer those questions now when we know there are other witnesses out there that need to be interviewed, and we know that there might be additional video evidence out there for us to obtain.
Can we ask the mayor a question? Mayor Elorza?
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the family says you have not contacted them. Is that true?
And so I left a message for the father a couple of days ago. He should have a voicemail in his voicemail from me in his phone. So I'm looking forward to touching base with him and with the family.
Did you think of going last night to the library to address the crowd? And if you weren't there, and I'm just wondering how come?
Yeah, no, I don't think that would have been helpful last night. But I look forward to touching base with the family. And the other thing that we're in the process of doing is reaching out to the folks in the ATV or the biker community. We know that this ATV situation, the dirt bike situation, has just continued to grow and has gotten to a point that we can't allow this to happen. So we need to find some creative solution, and we're going to sit down with them to see what we can find. To add just a little bit more to that, I'd be remiss, and I do want to add my voice as well. Policing in this country is incredibly difficult, and in general, but especially in a moment like this. Not just today, but on previous nights, our police officers have handled themselves to the level of professionalism that we certainly hold them to that standard, but it's very easy to fall from that standard. Our police department has been professionals through and through. And while some people might point with a broad brush at tying our police department to, say, the police department in Minneapolis or some other city that has had terrible incidences, it's no coincidence that we haven't had those situations here in Providence. Now, we pride ourselves in the professionalism of our police department. And I want to add my voice in recognizing them for the tremendous restraint and professionalism that they showed yesterday. It was a volatile situation that could have easily gone out of control like we've seen in other places, but it's a true testament to them that it didn't get to that point.
Mayor, what's the delay? Why a delay in the release of body cam footage?
Yeah, I'll let the commissioner speak to that, but I think it has to do with just some logistical issues of what we need to do to prepare to get it out to you. But you have my commitment, we're going to get that out to you as soon as possible.
Mayor, do you feel, do the residents of the city, do they still have confidence in your ability to lead, or have you lost control of the city of Providence?
That's where you can ask that to other folks. Look, my job is to make sure that I'm overseeing, to make sure that this is a transparent process, make sure that it's handled professionally and thoroughly, and that's something that I'm going to ensure.
Last night's group was made up of several different organizations that came together. Really, anyone can answer this. Has anyone reached out to Black Lives Matter to see what they're saying about when this took a turn last night? For instance, I talked to Jamal's family. They left at a point because they felt like it was getting out of hand. Has anyone reached out to other organizations? And if so, what did they say? If not, why not?
I mean, I can say I also left a voice message for the head of Black Lives Matter last night, or yesterday afternoon.
Are you
I haven't heard back.
Mayor, are you having a tough time getting a hold of people? It sounds like you're just leaving messages for people. I mean, you're the mayor of Providence. Why not call them in for a meeting?
That's exactly what I did. I called them and I haven't heard back. So hopefully they'll be returning my call.
Do you think part of this is your turnover in staff?
Let's answer. Look, Brother Gary has communicated with us throughout. I've reached him, and the colonel has reached him, the commander, and I'm sure other command staff members. We communicate as much and as often as possible with the leaders, not only he, but others. Look, our goal is for a peaceful protest, and whatever their plan is, we want to accommodate so it is peaceful. Last night, they condemned what happened. I personally saw Brother Gary leave before it turned violent. It's a testament to who he is. And other people may have seen other leaders leave. Look, the people that were out there felt the tension right around that time, 10 o'clock, 10:15, and you felt it. And it wasn't the leaders that we're used to communicating with, and that we have a respectful and mutual respect for what they're trying to do and what we're trying to do.
Hold on,
there was a question about body cam by Ed or Steve, okay? So there's probably 24 or more, probably more of body cams, so there are clips of them, and it just takes time. So when you're looking at 30 or 40 pieces of body cam, we need to go through it to make sure that we got to redact what is appropriate to redact. We'll get to that as quickly as we can and put that up on our website as well.
So Commissioner, you don't hold them responsible? Of Black Lives Matter? I mean, several of them left after the library, but the march was coming here. If you start a protest, shouldn't they be held accountable to be there in the beginning and the end?
Look, you know, Brother Gary wasn't there when it turned,
He
as I
he
said.
left after the library.
Right, and so there were other good people that came out and wanted to demonstrate and protest and support. They left at the time in which they chose to leave. There were 500, 600, 700 people. And at the end, there's a cluster of 100 to 150 that remained and wanted to escalate. We're not here blaming any of the leaders that may have been there early. It's the people that remained and used the opportunity to assault the police.
All right, we're going to let Lindsay ask her question, and then Carla, and then we're going to call it.
Commissioner, thank you, Lindsay.
You're
Can
welcome.
you talk a little bit about the video? Can we just clarify that these are the only 2 videos that you guys have right now to look at this incident? Because we've seen others put this video via cell phone on social media circulating.
Yeah, so I'm not going to comment about the specific video. Yeah, we have a lot of video that's been posted on social media. And these 2 pieces of video, we just got the second one on Monday. So it had not been disclosed or released to the public. The first one we had not seen it, but we thought it was relevant that we had this video and we wanted to show the public what we have thus far. So yes, there are dozens of other video out there throughout that afternoon that we have, but these 2 hadn't been publicized.
And so, just because we have people out in public saying, you know, dash cam, but to clarify, there are no dash cams on these cruisers, correct?
We do not have dash cams on the Providence Police Department.
Is that something that's becoming a higher priority as we see this happen?
Look, you know, we're the first department in New England that went full body cam 4 to 5 years ago. And so, you know, body cams we fully support and this police department has endorsed. And it's like anything else. You can't have video everywhere at every angle. You know, unfortunately, there's body cam that shows officers, but it doesn't shoot out the windshield. I get your point, but we had not looked at, we thought it was important to put body cams on our officers and not in our police cars.
All right, Carla, do you have
This is
something?
for the mayor. Alcalde, hablando con mucha gente de la comunidad, nosotros vemos la problemática de las motoras, de las motocicletas, especialmente en el sur de Providence. ¿Qué mensaje o qué van a hacer tu oficina para solucionar o combatir esta problemática? Porque no estamos hablando de 50 motos, estamos hablando de 100, 300 y las personas definitivamente expresan estar cansados con esta situación.
Sí, como usted dice, Carla, este ha sido un problema que ha ido aumentando ya en 2 años y parece que este año ha seguido creciendo. La cantidad de llamadas que recibimos cada día de quejas de estas motocicletas es una cantidad enorme. Lo que hemos hecho es 3 cosas. Siempre monitoreamos las redes sociales para ver dónde es que se van a reunir y dedicamos recursos policiales a esas áreas para prevenir que se unan de inmediato. Pero lamentablemente con los avances de las redes sociales y de comunicación, ellos fácilmente comunican y se reúnen en otras áreas. Así que es un juego de como ratón y gato, it's like a cat and mouse game. Otra cosa que hemos hecho, hemos pasado una ley en la ciudad de Providence, que si cualquier persona sabe de que en cierta casa tienen una de estas motocicletas que no es registrada y que no es legal, nos puede llamar directamente a nosotros y nosotros enviamos a la policía y ahí, si la vemos, la podemos confiscar y la podemos destruir. Y necesitamos la ayuda de la comunidad entera con eso. Dedicamos un número, el 680-8288. Por favor, llámenos. Si ustedes saben que los vecinos o una casa en la vecindad tienen una de estas motocicletas, llámenos y nosotros llegamos y la podemos confiscar. Pero sí, también además de eso, estamos comunicándonos con los líderes de estos rides para ver cómo podemos solucionar este asunto, porque en realidad no puede continuar así. Ya vemos los riesgos y también es algo que ha sido aumentando conforme los años y simplemente no se puede permitir. Hay mucho riesgo que corremos todos, incluyendo el público, con estas motocicletas.
All right, thank you guys. I'm gonna be sending the link with the videos to all of you. If you have anything to follow up on, feel free to ask.